Welcome to Lesson 5 of Story-Based English. In this lesson, we have a beautiful, emotional story. A young woman named Sarah finds an old letter that was never delivered, and she decides to return it to the person it was written to. By the end of this lesson, you will know 10 new vocabulary words, and you will master the first conditional, the grammar of future possibilities and plans. If you learn this structure, you will be able to talk about the future with confidence. Let's begin.
Okay, here is our first sentence. Listen carefully. Sarah found a sealed envelope with a faded address behind an old bookcase in her new apartment. Let me read that again. Sarah found a sealed envelope with a faded address behind an old bookcase in her new apartment.
All right, a great start to our story. Let's look at the word envelope. An envelope is the paper cover that holds a letter. When you send a letter, you put it inside an envelope, write the address on the front, and seal it. Notice the pronunciation. It can be said two ways, envelope or envelope. Both are correct. And the second word is faded. Do you remember this word? We learned it in Lesson 2 when Lena found a faded map. Faded means the colors have become lighter and weaker over time. Here, the address on the envelope is faded. The ink has become pale after many years. This sentence uses past simple. Sarah found the envelope, a single completed action. She was not looking for it. It was just there, hidden behind the bookcase for who knows how long. Now this discovery sets up an important question. What will Sarah do with the letter? And to talk about that, we will need the first conditional. Let's read on.
Sarah has found the letter. Now, what does it say inside? Let's find out. Here is sentence 2. The letter contained a heartfelt message. If we meet again, I will tell you everything. I hope our reunion will come soon. One more time. The letter contained a heartfelt message. If we meet again, I will tell you everything. I hope our reunion will come soon.
What a beautiful and emotional letter. Let's look at the word heartfelt. When something is heartfelt, it comes from deep emotion and genuine feeling. A heartfelt message is sincere, honest, and full of true emotion. Heart plus felt. You feel it from the heart. And the second word is reunion. A reunion is a meeting between people who have been separated for a long time. A family reunion is when family members come together after being apart. School reunions bring old classmates together. The letter writer hopes for a reunion. They want to see the other person again. Now, the grammar. Look at the letter. If we meet again, I will tell you everything. This is a perfect first conditional sentence. The if clause uses present simple, if we meet. The main clause uses will plus base verb, I will tell. Notice very carefully. If we meet, not if we will meet. This is the most important rule of the first conditional. In the if clause, we use present simple to talk about the future, never will in the if clause. Why? Because if already tells us this is about a possible future. Adding will would be redundant. English avoids doubling up on future markers. Can you make your own first conditional? How about, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay home. Did you get it? Excellent.
What a touching letter. Sarah must be curious. Let's see what she decides to do.
Here is sentence 3. Sarah was determined to track down the recipient. When I find this person, I will deliver the letter myself. Let me read it once more. Sarah was determined to track down the recipient. When I find this person, I will deliver the letter myself. Now this is a great sentence. Let's look at the word determined. When you are determined, you have decided firmly to do something, and nothing will stop you. Sarah is not just thinking about finding this person. She is determined. She will not give up. Think of someone with their jaw set, eyes focused, ready to do whatever it takes. That is being determined. And the second phrase is track down. To track down someone means to search for and find them, especially when it takes effort. Police track down criminals. Journalists track down sources. Sarah is going to track down the person this letter was written to. Track plus down, like following tracks, footprints, or clues until you find what you are looking for. Now here is something very interesting for grammar. Look at Sarah's words. When I find this person, I will deliver the letter. This looks very similar to the first conditional, but instead of if, Sarah uses when. What is the difference? If means something is possible but uncertain. When means you expect it to happen. It is just a matter of time. Sarah does not say if I find. She says when I find. She is confident. She believes she will find this person. And just like with if, we use present simple after when for future meaning. When I find, not when I will find. The same rule applies. You can also use as soon as in the same way. As soon as I find this person, I will deliver the letter. As soon as means immediately after. All of these time clause words follow the same rule, present simple for future reference.
Let's pause for a quick review. We are halfway through. Grammar check. What is the first conditional structure? Right, if plus present simple, then will plus base verb. And what is the difference between if and when in these sentences? If means uncertain. When means you expect it to happen. Vocabulary check. What does heartfelt mean? Deeply and sincerely felt. And determined? Firmly decided, will not give up. Great. Let's continue Sarah's story.
Here is sentence 4. Sarah checked an old phone directory and traced the name to a neighborhood across the city. Unless the family had moved, she would find them there. One more time. Sarah checked an old phone directory and traced the name to a neighborhood across the city. Unless the family had moved, she would find them there.
Now Sarah is doing real detective work. Let's look at the word directory. A directory is a list of names, addresses, and phone numbers. Before the internet, people used phone directories, big books with everyone's contact information to find people. Think of it as an alphabetical list that directs you to who you are looking for. Directory, it directs you. And the second word is traced. We learned this word in lesson 2, remember? Lena traced the route on the map. Here, Sarah traced the name. She followed it, she tracked it through records until she found the right neighborhood. Same word, new context. Now the grammar. Look at unless the family had moved, she would find them there. Unless is a powerful word. It means if not or except if. Unless the family had moved means if the family had not moved. It is a negative condition. Unless creates a conditional sentence, just like if. But whereas if states a positive condition, unless states the exception. Think of it as a safety clause. Everything will be fine unless something goes wrong. Sarah will find them there unless they moved. Where does unless appear in everyday English? Everywhere. Unless you study, you will not pass. We will go outside unless it rains. Can you make your own unless sentence? Nice.
Sarah has found a lead. Let's see if she reaches the right person. Here is sentence 5. When she finally arrived at the old house, an elderly woman answered the door and was overcome with emotion. One more time. When she finally arrived at the old house, an elderly woman answered the door and was overcome with emotion.
Oh, this is the emotional peak of the story. Let's look at the word overcome. When you are overcome with emotion, the emotion is so strong that you cannot control it. The elderly woman was so moved by seeing the letter that her emotions took over. She might have cried or been unable to speak. Think of it as being overwhelmed. The emotion comes over you and takes control. Now notice the grammar. When she finally arrived. Remember from sentence 3, we learned that when plus present simple talks about the future? But here, when is used with past simple, when she arrived. That is because we are telling the story in the past. The time clause rule works the same way in past narration. When she arrived, past simple in the time clause. The woman answered, the result. In a story, the when clause sets up the timing for what happens next. And there is a beautiful connection here. Sarah was determined in sentence 3. She made a plan. And now it worked. She found the person. Her determination paid off. Can you feel the whole story connecting? Every sentence has built toward this moment.
And now the final sentence. Let's see how this beautiful story ends.
Here is our final sentence. If someone shows you kindness, you never forget it. This small gesture means the world to me. One more time. If someone shows you kindness, you never forget it. This small gesture means the world to me.
What a powerful and beautiful ending. Let's look at the word gesture. A gesture is an action that expresses a feeling or intention, usually kindness or goodwill. Bringing the old letter to the woman was a gesture, a kind action that showed Sarah cared. Gestures do not have to be big. A small gesture, like holding a door open for someone, can mean a lot. Now, the grammar in this final sentence is very interesting. Look at, if someone shows you kindness, you never forget it. Wait, this does not use will. It uses present simple in both parts. If someone shows, and you never forget. Is this a first conditional? No, this is actually a zero conditional. The zero conditional talks about things that are always true, general truths or facts of life. If someone shows you kindness, you never forget it. This is always true. It is not about a specific future event. It is about a universal truth. So what is the difference? First conditional. If she finds the owner, she will deliver the letter. Specific future possibility. Zero conditional. If someone shows you kindness, you never forget it. General truth, always true. First conditional. Will in the result. Zero conditional. Present simple in both parts. And with that, our story comes to a perfect close. Sarah's small gesture changed someone's day, and our story taught us the grammar of possibilities and truths. Now let's listen to the complete story one more time. Sarah found a sealed envelope with a faded address behind an old bookcase in her new apartment. The letter contained a heartfelt message. If we meet again, I will tell you everything. I hope our reunion will come soon. Sarah was determined to track down the recipient. When I find this person, I will deliver the letter myself. Sarah checked an old phone directory and traced the name to a neighborhood across the city. Unless the family had moved, she would find them there. When she finally arrived at the old house, an elderly woman answered the door and was overcome with emotion. The woman whispered, "If someone shows you kindness, you never forget it. This small gesture means the world to me." What a beautiful story. And that is a wrap for Lesson 5. You did a beautiful job with this emotional story. Let's look at everything you learned in this lesson. Vocabulary. You learned 10 new words. Envelope, faded, heartfelt, reunion, determined, track down, directory, traced, overcome, and gesture. 10 words. Grammar. We mastered the first conditional and time clauses. You can now talk about future possibilities and plans with confidence. Be very proud of what you've achieved so far. Now, head over to the quiz section to test your knowledge. And finally, head to the role-play section. Practice the reunion or the search for the letter's owner with your AI partner. I look forward to seeing you in Lesson 6, where we will continue our B1 journey with more exciting stories. Bye for now.